What's up, guys? It's Eric Kelly, aka the Tech Gentleman, bringing you guys another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip6. This is the mint green version. Before I get going, I want to remind you guys, make sure you hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Threads. I'll have links in the description below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you got any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down below. I'll make sure to get back to you. But without further ado, let's talk tech. Alright guys, it's that time of year again. Samsung has had their Unpacked event and they've revealed a couple of devices. They unveiled the Galaxy Z Flip6, which I have here. They unveiled it in about 6 different colors. Also, they unveiled the Fold 6 and the Watch 7 series, which includes the sleeper, which is the Watch Ultra. I'll have that later on. But right now we're going to get into the Z Flip6 in the mint green. Go ahead and unbox this guy. You guys are used to it by now, but the unboxing experience, nothing to write home about. So we got a device, set that to the side, and out the gate you can see what the new signature kind of indicator for which device you have is this year. The color matching rings around the camera. As you can see, I have the 5 here. Major design difference, not really, but just one of those things where at a glance you know immediately which device you have. Appreciate that, Apple. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this cover off here and fold it shut for the first time. That hinge, beautiful every time. So now we have the full front here with the little, I call them the eyes that look back at you. And that's also where one of the improvements is housed. The main sensor is now a 50 megapixel sensor. So finally, the Flip series has a pretty decent camera on it. Go ahead and take this off the back. And speaking of the back, this is another area where they made a design change, for better or for worse. It has a matte kind of frosted glass finish on the back here. I like it. Let me guys know if you like that in the back. Also, the frame now matches that. So we have the frosted frame, frosted hinge, no more shiny. And I think it looks pretty clean. I think it looks good. So if we compare that to last year on the front, nothing major, just small little differences. Weight wise, this was actually feels a little bit heavier, but as far as the finish goes, you either like it or you hate it. So you got the matte on the new and the glossy on the old, which the glossy definitely gave you problems when it came to fingerprints. Also in the old, the back was glossy, so you got some reflections on there. Looking at the hinge, once again, you kind of see the difference. Have the shinier hinge on here, got the matte hinge on the new guy, and we can open them up. And I'll take this time to power this guy on. I feel like this one opens a lot flatter as well. Come on. I know you got a little juice in there. Come on. There we go. All right, so just wipe this guy off. Out the gate, size-wise, not much has changed. This guy, of course, is sporting the latest and greatest Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. You've got 12 gigs of RAM in this guy this year, which is great. And outside of that, this guy feels a little bit wider. I don't know if it's the display and the colors on it, but this guy feels a little bit wider. Same thickness. Put them side by side. You can see this guy right here is bone straight, whereas this guy has the tiniest little bow in it. This one is bone straight. I love that. And the flat aesthetic definitely helps kind of exaggerate how just flush it is. So when you open this guy up, it looks like a regular device. And for all the people that are wondering about the crease, it is massively improved. And it's not just because this is my wife's phone. It's not because she's been using this out the gate. This crease is massively improved. I mean, it's almost indistinguishable. Wow. This year, I think the theme is you gotta use it, right? You gotta touch it. I think that there's so many just small improvements year over year for these devices that it's hard to really emphasize them on paper, right? So if we look at the crease there. They're pretty much the same. This guy, the Flip 5, folded flush pretty much last year. This one, you've got a little bit more dust protection, almost like a nice little rubber lip around there that's going to help keep dust out. But this is definitely just refinement all the way. This guy, the roundedness, it doesn't make it feel cheap, but doesn't make it feel as refined as this. This feels like a little smooth, boxy piece of tech. The hinge is the confidence in the hinge, and that's something that Samsung is just, I mean, look at that. Any angle is tight, and the main audience for this phone is going to be somebody who's wanting to take advantage of that hinge. You've got the little, they call it the camcorder mode, kind of. You want to set this guy up and you want to take a little bit of video. You've got so many options, you know, even the tint mode, because you do have that big outer display that you can take advantage of. And once everything is signed in, you'll have all new home screens and things like that to take advantage of. So this guy, I think that if you enjoyed the Flip 5, this is just a nice upgrade. Samsung's been giving pretty good pre-order discounts on this guy. I'm feeling this. So as far as pricing goes, this guy got a price bump this year. It's $1099 for the 256 gig, which, I mean, at this point, it's hard to argue that the fact that it folds in half doesn't allow it to be priced a little bit closer to those flagship devices. You also have the improved camera. You have extra RAM this year, 12 gig instead of 8. Base storage is 256. I'm telling you, man, if you hand this phone to somebody, they will not assume that it folds shut. I've been saying this year after year. Every time I use this device, this is the most important phone. This is going to make the case for anybody who's questioning foldables. My wife, she's not rough. As you can see, she's had this device since launch. She's not rough on her phone. She uses it like a phone. She runs several businesses. She runs social media, several social media accounts. She's on this guy all day, every day. She's folding it shut. She doesn't baby it. She uses it like a phone, and it's held up great. Haven't had to do any screen repairs on it. She's dropped it. Like I said, she doesn't baby it. She just uses it. And so if you're looking for anybody, if you want to know if it can last at least a year of regular, normal use, I can vouch for you. Year over year, the 4 held up, the 5 is held up. I have no doubt that the 6 will hold up as well. But if you guys have any questions, let me know what you got. I have some case reviews coming up, some comparison to other devices. Speaking of that, before we go, let's go ahead and compare it to some other devices for size sake. So this is the iPhone 15 Pro, not the Max. So just if you're coming from another device, you can get an idea. And then of course, with it closed, you can see what you're dealing with. And even the thickness, it's not crazy thick, right? It's not unreasonable anymore. It's very difficult to convey what this feels like. But once it's opened, I mean, it feels like a regular phone. It's actually a little bit thinner than the iPhone 15 Pro. They don't claim this to be the thinnest phone in the world, so that kind of makes sense. But there's the 15 Pro, and we've got the Pixel 8 Pro here. So a more traditional aspect ratio phone here, more traditional size phone. And even though it's a little bit narrower, it's big enough to where you don't really miss it. And of course, we can do fold it shut, just to give you something to compare it to. So you're making a trade-off, less size, a little bit more thickness here. You fold it, and the big boy, the Ultra here. So once again, similar size top to bottom. Obviously the Ultra is wider as far as thickness. They're pretty similar. Ultra's a little bit thicker, but obviously this has a bigger battery, bigger camera, all that stuff. And of course, no comparison when it's folded shut. None at all. All right. But yeah, guys, this has been the Galaxy Z Flip 6. If you got any questions, leave them down below. I'll make sure to get back to you. But until next time, I'll talk to you. Peace.